All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's up, everybody? Big Marley 3 from SHIPIT Nation here to break down the Week 15 NFL Primetime Slate for you guys. We have a big day today with 3 NFL games and a UFC pay-per-view, and then we get to dominate another NFL Sunday slate tomorrow. You get all sports for one price over at ShipItNation.com, and it only costs about $2 a day. We have members and staff posting big wins in the Discord every night, and it is the best Discord in the industry. Go sign up if you haven't yet and get in on these big wins. All right, let's get into this 2-game primetime slate. I do like this slate, and I think there's lots of ways we can go with it because all 4 of these quarterbacks are playable, in my opinion. The Sunday night game is Baltimore at Jacksonville. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites, and we have a 44-point game total in this one. Lamar has the better matchup, and he's coming off a 35-point game, but he is $1,200 more than Lawrence, and he's only $200 less than Hurts. He does have cheaper stack pieces, though, so I do like him, and I would want him stacked with 1 or 2 of his guys. Isaiah Likely is my favorite guy to stack with, and he's only $4K at tight end. He's probably my favorite tight end play on this whole slate, actually. So he might end up in my single entry with or without Lamar. But we also have Odell Beckham. He is only $4,200, and he had 10 targets last week and was only 3 yards shy of the 100-yard bonus. And then we also have Zay Flowers. He's $5,900, and he also had 10 targets last week. All 3 of those guys caught a touchdown from Lamar. So I'd be fine pairing him with any 2 or even 3 if we need to, all 3 of those pass catchers. And then they also have both of their running backs in play. I'd rather take my chances on the pass catchers, but if I'm not using Lamar at quarterback, then I'm fine with Gus Edwards or Keaton Mitchell. I would rather just save the $600 and go Mitchell over Gus Bus, but I'm fine with either of them in my non-Lamar lineups. And then Trevor Lawrence didn't even look like he was going to play last week with his ankle injury. But not only did he end up playing, he ended up passing the ball 50 times. I like him as well this week, and I would probably want him paired with any 2, if not all 3 of his pass catchers. We have Calvin Ridley, $6,200. Evan Ingram is our highest priced tight end at $5,400. And then Zay Jones is only $4K, and he saw 14 targets last week with Kirk out. So Jones might be my favorite of the 3, especially if I need a cheap punt who can get lots of volume. And Travis Etienne Jr., he's in play as well if we can afford him, but I like him more if I'm not using Trevor Lawrence. I really don't want him stacked with a $6,800 running back, so I'd rather put him with his wide receivers and then use Etienne just as direct leverage off instead. And then the Monday night game has the Eagles as 3.5-point road favorites. And we have a 47.5-point game total in this one. I am going to assume that Geno ends up playing for Seattle. And if that's the case, then I like him a good amount with the best matchup him and his wide receivers could ask for. This Eagles defense just cannot stop wide receivers this year. So I like getting one of them on every team I make for this slate. And I like 2 of them, if not all 3, if I'm using Geno. And then I would just rank them in the order that they are priced in. I like DK the most, Lockett second, and then JSN is a fine punt at $4,500. It's just a great matchup, so I expect at least one of them to go off. So that's where I'll be loading up. And then I really don't want any Seattle tight ends this week. And it's also a super tough matchup for their running back, so I don't want to go there either. But I will probably fade the tight ends, and then if I need a Walker or even a Charbonnet as the last spot in my lineup, I'm fine with it because I think this is a tough running back slate, and I'm not really rushing to get any of these guys in my lineup. So I'm kind of fine with whatever 2 running backs end up making it for me. And then we have Hurts is always in play at quarterback, but he's expensive. He's $7,800, and so are his wide receivers. So the way I usually play Hurts is I would just stack him with one of the wide receivers, A.J. Brown being the guy that I try to get in first. But if I need that $1,600, then I'm fine just dropping down to Devontae Smith. And then they also have Dallas Goedert back at tight end. So if I do end up double stacking Hurts, then he would be the second guy I would throw in. Goedert with either one of these wide receivers would be cool with me. And then on a tough running back slate, I think Swift might end up being my favorite running back on the board, especially if I'm not using Hurts. I'm fine stacking a little bit of Hurts with Swift as well. But I don't know. I feel like I'd probably rather go and pay less for these other 3 quarterbacks. I haven't built a lineup for this slate yet, but I just have a hard time seeing me be able to get to Hurts. I really don't even mind Jackson for $200 left because his stack partners are so cheap. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing on this slate, but my full player pool will be posted over at SHIPITNation.com. You get all sports for one low price, so you guys can play more and pay less. I'll be back next week with another Primetime Slate breakdown, but if you guys can hit that like and subscribe button for us, it really helps out. Good luck on this 2-game slate. I hope to see some Ship It logos up top. Thanks for listening. Go ship something.